Hello, hello, and welcome to Inklings with Irena. I want to jump on and talk with you today about what you can do when tragedy strikes. Our hearts are heavy right now with great tragedies that have been going on in our world. And there can be that moment of overwhelm, a moment of feeling hopeless, a moment of wondering, what can we do to make a difference? And in these moments in time, I really turn to the sacred practices and rituals that help me connect, to help stop feeling so isolated and ineffectual. And I want to share those with you today because one of the most important things is we come together as a community and a community of the heart. And as President Biden said when he was addressing the nation, now is the time to turn pain into action. These big emotions and feelings that we're having, it is important that we have the tools and the resources to process them in a healthy way. And as an energy alchemist, someone who really draws upon sacred practices and rituals to connect to the divine, to the angels, to God, I feel that it's very important that we utilize those in times like this. And when there is tragedy, it is of utmost importance that we take the time to respond from a grounded and heart centered space. So, I want to give you three things that you can do right now to make a difference, to make a change. And the first thing is to create a safe space to process your emotions. It is a challenge to be there for anyone else or to know what to do if your own emotions haven't been addressed. You won't be in the right headspace mentally. You'll be wrapped up in the experience. And when we are wrapped up in the emotions of a moment, we're not thinking clearly. And we might take actions we regret later on. So, to create a safe space to process your emotions, the way you do that is through grounding. Grounding just means to bring yourself fully present into this moment, into this bodily experience. We're not in our head trying to think of a way to fix things or solutions or answers. We're not out of body in this just emotional kind of I see it as like an amoeba amalgamation, what a word, of all these feelings. But we are fully present. We are checked in. We are in our body. And how can you ground? Well, you can take a few deep breaths. You can go outside and place your hand on a tree. Anything that helps you be in the moment. We don't want to check out right now because we will be ineffectual with our actions. Grounding is important. The next thing that I encourage you to do is to move into your heart. Now, why would we want to move into our heart? If we're just in our head and we're not logic and we're not bringing feeling, we're not bringing heart into this, then it is going to be very challenging to move in a compassionate way. We might want to, it's hard to hear other people's sides and stories. It is important to come together as a community for healing. So when you move into your heart space and cultivate the garden of your heart, what you're doing is you are moving into a very loving, compassionate space, and you are able to connect with others. You're able to have that empathy, to have that compassion, to be there. And then the final thing is ask for guidance. And really, it's the first thing. But sometimes when we're so discombobulated and disoriented, we don't even know which way is up. That's why grounding. We say, help, help God, and we ground so that we can hear that message. And then asking for divine guidance. This is great to do when we don't know what to say, when somebody is going through something so heart aching and heartbreaking. What do we say? How can words make a difference? Even when we say, I'll be praying for you, sometimes that creates such anger. How do we comfort those in need? How do we show up? What can we do? How do we make a difference when it's just one little person, even if we get together with a group of voices, to have that courage to stand up to the industries and the lobbyists? What can we do to make a difference? ask for guidance, and that guidance will come. Those little inklings and nudges of, oh, hey, maybe call, write to the senator, write to the congressman, gather with this group here, share a moment of inspiration with others, but to be there. So give yourself a moment first, just kind of recapping what I'm sharing with you to process these emotions, ground. Once you do that, move into your heart space. And that could be as simple as you seeing a beautiful rose there. And as you're taking the deep grounding breaths, you see the petals of the rose open to receive the breath, and you gently close. You're also identifying your own unique energy when you go into your heart space, which is so important because in moments of big emotion, it's easy for group mind to take over, that collective thought, and we're not thinking in our right head. We're not being discerning. Grounding helps us helps us with discernment. Being in our heart space moves into compassion, and we know who we are, so we're acting out of integrity and then asking for that divine guidance. What would you have me do, God? So I'm going to end with St. Francis's poem. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I always go to it in moments like this. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. May you know how loved you are and that you're not alone.